If somebody uses a firearm to commit a crime against you, should you be able to sue the person who sold them that firearm? Texas House Bill 1375 is looking to amend the Texas Code to allow you to be able to sue corporations who sell your child something that you consider obscene and harmful. The problem with these types of purity laws is that they are always veiled underneath of this guise of we are just trying to protect the children. And if you look at it for face value, it sounds good. It's like, okay, yeah, harmful material being distributed to children, we should definitely stop that. We don't want our kids to be able to view, bondage, pornography, and stuff like that. Nobody's selling your kid that in the children's book section, man. The thing is that it always comes down to, well, what do we define as being obscene or harmful? And turns out Texas already has obscenity laws in the books. Well, at least what we would consider to be things that are obscene materials. And we have explicit rules about what we consider to be obscene materials that involve children. Rightfully so. We should have those types of things on the book. Now, I read through this bill just like any of these purity laws that suck to read through. I read through the analysis and the witness list. We will get to the witness list in just a second. So upon reading this bill that was introduced by Nate, I immediately thought of like, okay, well, what types of books would these people be thinking of? What types of media? And it came to mind of some of the things that I thought of immediately were it. So I have never read this book, but I do know of this famous scene inside of there of a child orgy scene. Not a great read, apparently. I've never read it, but I have another book that came to mind was Jack Ketchum's The Girl Next Door. It's loosely based on the real life torture and murder of a young teenage girl. And I watched the movie as a kid, and it disturbed me. It was messed up, man. And whenever I say a kid, I mean I watched it as a teenager. Don't watch it if you don't... If you're comfortable with not feeling good after finishing something, don't watch this. But it tells the story of a girl who was taken in by somebody and then was just viciously and meticulously abused by her and the children around her that the adult allowed them to do heinous acts to her. It was awful. Okay. So on the witness list, we had somebody called the Citizens Defending Freedom, and these types of organizations, man, anytime that they have a name like that, you can almost bet that they are the exact opposite of what they say that they are for. And it just so happens underneath their resource, they had a deal that had to do with books that they found explicit and wrong for children to be able to read. Now, children in this case means anybody K through 12. So that means we're looking at 17-year-olds at the latest stage, and the young kids at the other earliest. Inside of this list, they had this book, Lucky, and I didn't go through the whole list. I just went through a couple of them, and I saw names that stuck out. So Lucky is a memoir from the woman who wrote The Lovely Bones, which that's another movie that if you watch or a book that you read, you're not going to feel good at the end, but it's a story that needs to be told nonetheless. Inside of this memoir, she goes over her sexual assault, and she describes it in detail and how horrific it was. Okay, another book, Jesus Land, by a journalist that describes her upbringing in a Christian fundamentalist group, and inside of it, she details childhood exploitation that she witnessed as well. I have never read this. I have just heard about it, and I'm reading it from the Wikipedia page. But if you go and you look at these sections inside of here, underneath the Citizens Defending Freedom, they bring out some experts that they just found wrong for people to be able to read. And you know what? I agree. Children should not be reading Lucky. This should not be inside of a grade school library, but it should be inside of a high school library, because as these kids are coming of age, I think that they have the maturity to be able to read these types of materials and go, wow, the real world's pretty messed up. Our goal is to raise our children up to know what is coming for them in the real world and to be prepared for it. Man. So these kind of laws, like I said, they're always underneath the guise of we are just trying to protect the children. And I'm calling BS. And even more so, the law is looking to make it to where you can sue people for selling your child something that you deem obscene. It is not the government's place to be your child's parent. You should be looking at the material that your kids are getting, checking it out, and determining whether or not your child should be allowed to read them. Hell, I will tell you this. I know of a couple of people that were my age whose parents wouldn't let them read Harry Potter because they found it offensive. Yeah. Be involved in your kids' lives, man. Check out the media that they are reading and don't try to get the government to be your kid's parent. The last time that I went to Barnes and Noble, I took my kid to the kids section and we picked out a book about Bluey. We didn't see the book Lucky in the kids section. My young child would not be interested in a book like this. And if your kids are reading things that you find morally reprehensible, it is on you as the parent to do the parenting. It is not reasonable to be able to say that an organization should be able to sue a Barnes and Noble or a movie theater on your behalf because your child got a hold of material that wasn't meant for them. Be a parent.